Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cobras and pancakes. In today's Roundtable discussion, we'll be discussing how Metroid Prime 4 is not coming out anytime soon. Today I'm joined by
Green Cobras Gaming,
TheJamesRolls,
and Pancake Armor Man.
So let's get this over with. Metroid Prime 4 has been confirmed to be restarting development from the scratch with... I may have written that wrong. Metroid Prime 4 has been confirmed to be restarting development from scratch with Retro Studios. How do you feel about this? James, please keep that blooper in.
Alright, I guess I go first. Okay. I feel alright about this. Personally, yeah, I just feel alright about it. Retro Studios doing it again, starting over from scratch. I'm alright about this, That's all I really have to say, really.
I think it's interesting how apparently they confirmed that Retro Studios, I don't know if it's confirmed that they weren't involved in it in the first place. I would assume because they said that Retro's handling it now, that means they weren't involved. I wonder if who was actually doing it before they scrapped it, but Retro being handed back their baby is probably for the best. Because they know the series well, they made it. So I think overall it's good. Obviously, it kind of sucks that it is going to be delayed, but as Miyamoto once said, a delayed game can be good. I'm going to get the quote wrong, but a delayed game will be a better game than one that's rushed out. So it's better to delay something to make it really, really good than to throw out something that's...
ID number 9.
Yeah, but that's not a Nintendo game.
I know, but I just wanted to say that because I did see something about someone put that quote. I seen a meme of it where Miyamoto says that or whatever, and then it shows my number 9, and then it shows him says never mind.
But
sorry to interrupt you, James, but to add to what Cobra was saying, I saw another one where it was something along the lines of a delayed game is eventually good. A delayed game eventually becomes Star Fox Zero or something like that.
Okay, now that's funny. But yeah, Metroid Prime 4, it's good that it's back with Retro, and hopefully the game will be awesome.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of disappointing that they'd be starting from scratch or anything. And I thought Retro was making the game. I thought they were making Metroid Prime 4 even before they decided to start from scratch and everything. I was kind of more surprised that it wasn't being made by Retro Studios originally. I thought it was going to be made. I thought it was in development by Retro Studios, not a different company. But I guess that's what they said, so that's interesting. And I guess they are working on it now anyway, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what company that was working on it. And I think Retro Studio was still helping them, just that I guess they weren't really the ones that were doing it. I guess before they were just helping.
It's not a super uncommon thing for video game companies to restart development if it's not going well, but not a whole lot of them are this transparent about it. If you want a few examples, Sonic Extremes restarted development a couple times before it ended up being canceled. And there were also a couple rumors a couple years ago that Final Fantasy VII Remake had restarted development. So I think the reason why they were so transparent about this was because so many people were expecting to see more of the game this year. But now that we know that they had basically restarted the game from the ground up, they don't have anything to show anymore. So I think it's good that they did this if it wasn't going well at all, because if the original game was just so bad that they had to restart it, then I'm glad they decided not to release it at all, so that we can eventually get something that would be worth playing.
Yeah, that's true. But I have heard games before that they had to restart or and scratch from over. I know Halo 2, actually interesting with Halo 2, the second Halo game. They actually had I know when they actually had they showed the game off at E3, and they even had a demo of it a year or so before the game came out. but like I guess something went along even after even though they had a like full demo and everything of Halo 2, they had to like during E3 they had to like start all over, so it's from scratch.
Yeah.
And it's still up turning a really good game regardless. It's like that's just impressive. Just you have like a game they show off at E3, including a full whole demo thing, and then you had to just scrap it all, and your game still turns out being good. It's always interesting to hear these stories about different games becoming different things and everything and turning out good.
How long do you expect it will be before we get any new information on Metroid Prime 4?
All right. Well, considering that when Metroid Prime 4 was first announced, all we saw was the number 4 floating in space, I kind of think that it's going to be quite a while before we get any new information on Metroid Prime 4. But considering that developers kind of work fast on games nowadays, like if you just look at how many games have been released in the past couple of years, I expect we're going to get some new information by at least next year or before next year. During the summer, if not next year. But yeah. So probably next year or somewhere in the summer, probably.
I actually agree with that. I think we might get a glimpse of it by next E3. So I think we'll, not something major, probably like a 2 second, no, that'd be even worse than the teaser from the E3 a couple years ago. I think it'll be like a CGI trailer of something 2 minutes of Samus fighting enemies, and then whichever villain it's going to be will be how they end the trailer, something like that. So I think we'll probably see something by E3 2020. Yeah, that's basically all I think about that.
I don't think we'll get anything I mean, they might show some teaser thing, but the thing is I don't think they will, because they a few years ago they showed the title and everything, so so they said they were starting from scratch, so I don't think we'll get anything at E3 this year just because they're restarting and everything. Maybe they probably will mention it or something maybe. But if it is, it might be something minor like that. If they just maybe mentioning it, or some real quick, maybe a title reveal. What's the actual title of the game? I don't know. Maybe that could possibly be it too. Maybe just that. But I don't think we'll get anything really until next year. Probably before E3 next. Oh, not this E3, but the following E3. I mean, we're gonna get probably stuff before then. I say maybe the earliest we could get something is probably this fall. I mean, you never know for sure, but at the same time, they're so far away because they're starting from scratch and everything. So I think, and it could also be in a direct, before 2020's E3. I think it could be between sometime this fall and the following fall would be a actual reveal something between this fall and the following fall. Because there's also a chance that it might not be revealed at the following E3. You never know, because that has happened before where we get multiple years without even hearing anything about some game. Not really with Nintendo though, but usually with other companies, Sony. but yeah. But yeah, I think in my opinion, I think it'll be a while.
So I'm basing this based off of Smash Bros. 4's release timeline. That game was announced in 2011 and came out in 2014. So my prediction is we won't hear anything about it this year or in 2020. If anything, then we'll probably maybe get a CG trailer in 2020. Just very brief of Samus fighting something with a name announcement, but we're not going to see anything substantial until 2021, and if we're lucky, we'll get the game in 2022. Next question: when do you think the game will be released?
Now there's a lot of people saying that they don't expect it to be released for a long time. Some people saying 2022, or some people saying it won't even be released for Switch. It'll be after Switch's lifetime. I don't really believe that. Like I said before, developers work kind of faster than they used to now. So I kind of expect it to be released somewhere in 2021, near the end of 2021, like the second quarter, or in the beginning of 2022, like in the first quarter of 2022. But, that's just my opinion. That's probably when it'll be released. But I don't expect it to take a really long time for the game to be developed, because this is Retro. They made the previous free. They know how to make Metroid Prime, and they'll make it good no matter how long it takes. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I think holiday 2021 or first quarter 2022 is probably the perfect time to speculate right now, because it is Retro. They know the series. They probably remember how to do it very easily. So it also probably depends on how big the game will be. But yeah, I'm fairly certain they can probably get a substantial amount of development done this year and probably start polishing things up by the end of 2020. So I think holiday 2021 or early 2022 is probably the perfect pinpoint for when it could release.
Okay, yeah, I kind of agree with you, Pancake and James, where with the release is probably going to be at the earliest 2021. Just like I said, they said they're starting from scratch, so, and that's two full years, over 2 full years, if it's actually over 2 full years if it's fall of that year. So yeah, I think it could possibly between 2020, fall of 2021 and maybe spring of 2023, even maybe possibly maybe 2023 at the latest. Hopefully, unless we don't get anything for a while or something like that. But of course, Nintendo has done in the past where they announce stuff or show stuff only a few months before games are released. So even if we don't get something until 2022, it could still release in 2022. We never know. Could maybe get something in spring of 2022 about the game, and then the game actually releases in late 2022. You never know. But yeah.
Real quick before I answer my question, I want to add one more small one real quick. Do you think Metroid Prime 4 would come out first, or Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Ooh. Huh. Final Fantasy VII? I mean, the thing is, Final Fantasy VII Remake has been announced a long time ago, but they haven't really released anything about it except for, a few details. But that also was years ago when they said all that stuff. So, possibly. I don't know, like I said, it's possibly depending what happens. If Metroid Prime 4 doesn't get delayed and everything, and well, I mean, it's technically delayed because but I mean, it doesn't get delayed again, I guess.
I think Prime 4 will come out first, unless the PS5 comes out in 2020 and Final Fantasy VII Remake is a launch title, which I severely doubt.
That could happen.
Metroid Prime 4 is definitely going to come out before the Final Fantasy VII Remake. In fact, the Final Fantasy VII Remake is probably going to get canceled, and they're probably going to re-release Final Fantasy VII again for everything again. So anyways, moving on.
The next question, do you think we'll get any remasters or spin-offs while we wait for Metroid Prime 4, such as Metroid Prime Trilogy HD or Federation Force HD, everybody's super game?
Hey, what about Zero Mission Remake?
Well, it's highly possible that we could get an HD remake of the Metroid Prime Trilogy, because we don't really know what Retro was working on before they, went to work with Metroid Prime 4. But then again, it's not, it's not really a possibility, because we could get nothing Metroid related until the release of Metroid Prime 4. Then again, I would like to see them take a second try at Federation Force and see if they can actually make something that people would like out of it, And then again, I would also like to see another Blast Ball, because that was actually pretty fun. So, Metroid Prime HD Trilogy would be pretty nice. another take at Federation Force would be pretty nice, and another Blast Ball would be pretty nice. But I don't think we're gonna get any of those. But like I said, we're probably not gonna get anything Metroid related until Metroid Prime 4, because that's the higher possibility than getting something, like an HD remakes or anything like that.
I think it all really depends on how many people exactly are working on Prime 4, because there could have been a small team, or maybe a couple of 50 people in Retro working on a Prime HD Trilogy. That could have been the case. We don't, nobody seems to know what Retro was up to. There's been rumors about things, including Star Fox Grand Prix, all sorts of things, but as far as if we could possibly get stuff, I think it's possible. I think we could get Prime HD Trilogy to tide people over, especially if Prime 4 is going to be delayed past maybe 2022. So I think a Prime 1 through 3 HD Trilogy is pretty plausible. Anything else, really, I don't think. I think Federation Force is kind of like a one-and-done deal. I doubt they would touch that again unless they do it for 3DS again, but the 3DS is probably on its final legs anyway. So yeah, I don't think we'll get really anything other than a Prime HD Trilogy, but I'm not exactly sure if it would be this year. Maybe next year, but not this year.
Possibly. We could possibly get, remasters of different Metroid games. I mean, like I said, the probably most likely one is the Metroid Prime Trilogy, just because they're making a Metroid Prime 4, so it kind of makes sense to make a HD port of it or something like that, but you never know. We might not get anything besides Metroid Prime 4. And also, there could be possibly other Metroid games while waiting for Metroid Prime 4 that might be remakes, or that might be remakes. For example, we might get a Super Metroid remake or something like that. Because they were made, the first two already. Even though the first one was back in the Game Boy Advance era, but it could be the highest is the Prime Trilogy, and then maybe a remake of a 2D Metroid game, maybe Super Metroid.
I think Metroid Prime Trilogy is definitely going to happen. Maybe this year. This year's already kind of crowded though, so I'm thinking that's probably going to be a 2020 release. Federation Force isn't going to happen. I think people made it very clear that they didn't really like that game. So I don't think that's going to happen. But if they do something else aside from Prime Trilogy, they probably do something along the lines of a Samus Returns successor on Switch, a new 2D Metroid or something like that. I think that might be a possibility, but I'm not 100% sure. And the final question, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up today's video?
Well, I just really hope Metroid Prime 4 turns out to be a really good game. Because I've been playing Metroid Prime for a while because I own the trilogy on Wii U, and they're pretty good games. And so I just hope Metroid Prime 4 is a good game. And this is Retro. They know what to do. They'll make a good game. Just really hope it's good.
Yeah, I trust Retro completely to handle their baby well, and I think it'll be worth the wait, no matter when Prime 4 comes out. But, yeah, I agree with Pancake. I just hope that it'll be worth the wait, and it'll be a really excellent game.
Yep. Yeah, I just hope things. I mean, I do need to play the Metroid Prime games. I played a tiny bit of the first game and everything, and I do have the trilogy on the Wii. So yeah, I need to play those games probably just so I know what's going. Plus, probably so I know what's going on whenever Metroid Prime 4 releases and everything. But yeah, still excited for this game regardless of other people's opinions.
Yeah, I really hope that Prime 4 ends up becoming a great game. I have no doubt that it will, because Retro Studios so far hasn't made a bad one. So I have a lot of high hopes for this one. I know they're going to do a good job with it. If it ends up being another M situation, I can imagine people pointing to this video you guys said this game's going to be good, you all suck, or something like that. But yeah, I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to turn out well. The delay is unfortunate, but if they needed to get more time to make the game good and things like that, then I think it'll be worth the wait. So thank you all so much for watching this episode of whatever we call these videos. I'm TheJamesRolls, and they are
Green Colors Gaming!
TheJamesRolls.
And Pancake Armor Man.
And let's get out of here.
And I will see you next time.
Peace out.
Shut up, I'm trying to sleep.
Wake up! You lazy fuck!